Hello, this is Professor Brown Cedarberg, and I'd like to demonstrate a simple while loop. So I've developed this program, and its class name is DemoWhileLoop, and its purpose is to allow users to spend money as long as they have money to spend. So you see that we have imported java.util.scanner, and that will allow the user to enter information through the keyboard. The class begins here and ends here. We have one main method that begins here and ends here. Now within the main method we have an instance of the class scanner declared. We've named it keyboard. I've got a double named balance, and I've hard-coded it with a value of 100. We'll call that $100. And then another double called user input. Now here's our loop. It begins here and it ends here. The purpose of the loop is to allow the user to continue to spend money as long as they have money to spend. So our condition is while balance is greater than 0. That is, while they have money to spend. If there is a balance sufficient, that is, the balance is greater than 0, we'll enter this loop. Remember, while loop might never be entered. We enter a while loop if the condition evaluates to true. We stay in the loop as long as the condition evaluates to true. When that condition evaluates to false, we exit the loop. If on first test that condition evaluates to false, we never go into the loop. But here we see, because I've hard-coded balance to have a value of 100, we'll go into this loop because balance is indeed greater than 0. So we'll print to the screen this string, enter the amount you want to spend, gather up what the user enters through this keyboard next double, and store it into the space user input. Now I'm going to test that value to make sure that there are sufficient funds for the user to enter, to spend, because I don't want to go over the balance inside the loop itself. So we're going to execute this if statement. If it is true that the balance minus the user input is less than 0, we have insufficient funds to spend. So we're going to print that out to the user, advise them what the remaining balance is, and then continue. Continue as an executable line of code will take us out of that current iteration of the loop and back up to the top. If I execute this line, if this if statement evaluates to true, and we enter the if and go through this and then execute continue, we will not execute these two lines. We'll go right back up to the top. We won't exit the loop, we'll exit the current iteration of the loop. So if the balance minus the user input is less than 0, we'll execute what's in the if statement. If not, we'll come down here and put into balance what's in balance minus the user input. So we'll establish a new balance. We'll then print out to the screen this string, balance remaining, and what's in the funds available, what's in balance. And we'll continue through this loop as long as the user has sufficient funds to spend. When the balance is no longer greater than 0, we'll be out of the loop and out of the program. So let's see if we can compile this. And we're going to run through some test data to make sure it runs properly. And so here, as we run it, we see that the user is asked to enter the amount that they want to spend. Let's spend $50. And spending $50, we're advised that it's $50 left. Let's spend another $25. And now we're advised that there are $25 left to spend. Let's try to spend $26. When we try to spend $26, we're told we have insufficient funds for that expenditure. The remaining balance is $25. So let's try to spend, let's say, $12 now. And we know now that we have $13 left. Enter the amount you want to spend. Let's spend that whole $13. Having spent the $13, our remaining balance is no longer greater than 0. The loop terminates, and in this example, our program ends. So this is a simple example of a while loop. Remember, with a while loop, we have a condition. If that condition evaluates to true, we'll stay in the loop. If that evaluation evaluates to false, we're out. A while loop might never be executed because on first test of this condition, it may evaluate to false. We'll never enter the loop. Thank you very much.